of the design industry with a focus on Australian design. So we'll start off with a really quick timeline of Australian furniture design. You guys might recognize a lot of these names, or at least recognize a lot of the pieces. So we've got some names like Fleur, Grant Featherstone, Artis, which is now known as Space Furniture, which is a pretty big retailer, furniture retailer in Australia. And then in 1948, we've got the Society of Designers for Industry being founded, which is now known as the Design Institute of Australia. Then we'll move on to 1951 with Krimper, who is a cabinet maker that immigrated to Australia. He's got a few exhibitions in the National Gallery of Victoria, George's Gallery, and Rockefeller Centre, New York. Then we've got Meadmore Originals, which is one of Australia's most internationally successful artists. Knoll Associates, which is an international brand, I believe, that is manufactured by William Latchford and Sons. So those iconic plastic space age chairs, and some more chairs by Featherstone. In 1967, we've got the Montreal Expo, which is where 64 participating nations basically showcase their advances and achievements in furniture. As you can see from the images, the whole space age was super prevalent and still going strong. Then 1968, Grant and Mary Featherstone did the interior fit out for the NGV, and then you can see those plastic furniture trends still going, with Siebel doing the Integra chair, which I'm sure everyone's seen in every school and community centre in Australia. Next, we've got some allied industries in design, which allied industry refers to the different industries that you may work together in some sort of way. Usually they provide raw materials or a service to each other. I've just included a quick video about the Eames chair and how it's produced, just to give us an idea of the different allied industries.
Which are then picked up by a computer scanner. It then calculates the best way to cut the hide.
From that scan, the patterns can be automatically nested or placed, basically avoiding all of the defects.
The same machine also cuts the leather, creating all the hands-on.
That's all they do, and very good at it, so that every time they sew the chair, it comes out right. So they're going to start out by sewing the arms, sewing the seats, sewing the back, sewing the zippers in, sewing the fiberboard onto the bottom. So that's really the first step.
Bolsters sewn in place using a sturdy twine.
Each cushion is upholstered with a button, which pre-creases the material and softens it. So when you
Tough shapers. Then the veneers are sandwiched, alternating dry sheets with glued ones. The wood grains are crossed for added strength.
So that gives you an idea of just what goes into this chair, which is obviously you can see composed of metal legs, wood base, leather upholstery. So you kind of have to outsource, see what you can outsource, what you can do in-house to make a singular product. Next, we'll talk about some emerging Australian designers. This is a studio called David Dove. They were established in 2011. They're an architecture and interior practice in Melbourne that predominantly do residential projects. As you can see from the images, it's super minimalist, super monolithic in form. I really like it because it is very timeless, and they keep sustainability in mind and in their design, and you can really just appreciate the materials that they're using because it's just very stripped back and very honest. It plays with different curves, as you can see in the ceilings, and different lighting options, which is really fun with like kind of that grid window. Then next we've got an individual designer, which is Olive. She's a sculptor and woodworker that is now based in Melbourne. She makes pieces out of wood that kind of bridge the gap between sculptural and functional. So as you can see from the pieces that I've chosen here, it's like a stool, a coffee table, and a bookcase. They're all very gorgeous and sculptural in nature, but also can have a function, which is great. And I really like the fact that she is able to manipulate wood in a way to make it almost come off as a different material altogether, which is shown in like the roundness and smoothness of and the organic forms of her work. Now we'll go into some design organisations in Australia. We've got the Design Institute of Australia, which is a huge one that just promotes designer voices and promotes their contributions to the world. This article that I've just taken from their Instagram is about a company called Relove, which works to support women and families in crisis and helps them rebuild and furnish their homes, which is a really nice community-based initiative that I love. And then secondly, we've got an Australian Design Centre, which is in Sydney, I believe. They hold different exhibitions, festivals, etc. And they, in the article, are just describing the project that they've done with using coolamans, which is a traditional carrying vessel, usually made from tree trunks, but made from clay for this particular exhibition, and just using it as a vessel to tell stories about Aboriginal culture, which I think is always nice to kind of integrate culture and design into one. I think it helps connect people to the design much easier. Then we've got some design publications. Green, which focuses on sustainability, which is always fantastic. And then we've got the Design Files, which is just highlights different homes, architecture, furniture, food. It's a team of women, which is fantastic, and why I've chosen to highlight it. Then we've got the Australian Design Award. They were established in 1958, and as you can see, design is kind of integrated in everything. So they highlight architecture, engineering, fashion, technology, and they have a whole bunch of awards that they do. Next is just some sites where you can learn about copyright and IP, which is associated with design and protecting your work. Then we've got obligations of an employer and employee. We've all been an employee, some maybe we've been an employer, but this is just a list of kind of the things that you need to, your rights and responsibilities essentially. And then next we'll just talk about some new technology that's coming out that is aiding design. First one is artificial intelligence and generative design, which is basically an algorithm-driven process that generates a whole bunch of possibilities using a predefined criteria set by engineers or designers, and 3D printing, which is, everyone's seen it. It uses a material and it kind of makes forms layer by layer. And here are 3 companies that are using different technologies to kind of facilitate their work. Basically, it just streamlines everything. It's more time efficient. It gives the designers more time to do other things. And yeah. So my role in the design industry, I would personally love to just work part-time just to get some guidance and mentoring, as I am new to the scene, but also just freelance, just so I can maintain some sort of freedom and enjoyment in designing and just kind of develop my own style without kind of those parameters around me. Like I spoke about before, I really love to integrate culture and community and want to integrate those things into my design. So I've chosen some companies that are in Sydney and run by people of colour. White Rabbit is a gallery in Broadway which has an amazing collection of Chinese contemporary art. 108 Warehouse is a local Marrickville store, that fashion store that is all about collaborations with local artists, people, and creating a sense of community and accessibility to their things. And then Chinatown Country Club is my friend's store in the city, which is an independent fashion retail store. And the name itself kind of plays on the juxtaposition between Asian heritage and a Western upbringing. So they have a really, really beautiful space with some amazing furniture pieces in there already, as you can see. It's very curated, very gorgeous, so working with them would be really, really fun. And that brings me to the end. Thank you.